So I'm here with Nancy Caviness, our senior account manager here. Why don't you tell us a little bit about what you do at RunSignup?
Well, I work with race directors pretty much all over the country, and many of those race directors are also people who work for nonprofits and or municipal organizations, and many of them come to RunSignup not having a background in race direction or even event direction, but they're doing it because they're spearheading a major fundraising effort for their organization. So I get a lot of clients who are first-time users for RunSignup, which is super fun, because I remember those days, because I was a customer. I was a race director for 25 years, and my race started before there was even any such thing as online registration, and then eventually I was on RunSignup for many, many years. So I was only too thrilled when the job came available. And so I bring all of that memory and that experience of being the lonely race director and not knowing what I was doing in the beginning to helping other people. And it's so rewarding.
So I know we're supposed to be talking about account manager stuff, but as far as going from just being a race director with paper registrations and all that,
yeah.
How is moving to online?
That was an interesting time, because when we went from paper, which was like, this is the day we're mailing it out, and then you'd be sweating it because you were supposed to like return this with your check by a certain date, and you'd be checking the mail every day, and then there'd always be the ones that would straggle in, or the people stuffing them in the doors, when you come home and you're thinking, there's 10 envelopes shoved under your door. And then there was online. So we couldn't just go immediately to online. We had to do sort of a hybrid. So here it's populating online, and you're still waiting for all the straggling mail and the things still getting stuffed under the doormat. And then eventually it was just ridiculous to try to do the mail anymore. And then we went to online, and then RunSignup came to be. And I moved off of another platform to RunSignup, which was great because they had a huge presence in the area where I was. And it was great. It made my life so much simpler. And then when I became an account manager, I thought, why did you not do that when you were a race director? All these things. I should have had a V8, right? Like, I learned all these great things. And like I said, it's very fun to bring all of that wealth of information and knowledge and experience and mistakes, forward and help other people.
Yeah, it's funny. There's features that I'll even find on RunSignup where it's like, I didn't know we could do that.
I know. It's fun to find those things.
So you're working more with peer-to-peer events. What are those conversations like?
Those conversations can be anywhere from sort of technical questions about how do I fill in the blank, right? How do I set up donations? How do I set up fundraising the best? How do I help my fundraisers be successful? Those are, I have a lot of those technical types of questions. But then the other piece, before any of that even happens, when I start to work with an organization, especially if they're new to RunSignup, is really trying to understand, like, what are your charitable or donation goals? Like, what are you hoping to get out of it? And if it's a race that's been on another platform, or they've never been online before, and they have legacy, and they have a lot of history, they have a lot of traditions. And so it's kind of learning about the organization, learning what they're trying to do, learning what their donation goal is, trying to incorporate all these things that really make that particular event tick. Because the last thing you want to do is match them up with the feature that sort of negates all this good heart and soul that the event had. And so it's just finding this right mix. It's like making a great soup, right? It's like all the good ingredients to sort of keep the event having all that personal good feeling about it, and then helping them use all these features that are technology that they've never used before. Those are the kind of conversations. It's a little technical, and then it's all that good, crunchy, heart fulfilling, make you feel great at night when you lay your head down on the pillow kind of work.
And are there any features that are your favorite features to suggest?
Oh, yeah. Well, I love the donation feature. And I love being able to explain or show to my clients how to bring their donation page to life. The nonprofit logo, the great description, the compelling description about why they're raising money, a good title, like giving the donation levels, really thinking through the attribution language, and then all the customizations that they can do, even encouraging them to include information about how someone can donate offline. I know that that's something that, doesn't really necessarily benefit our company, but it benefits the client, which in turn benefits the company. And helping them put all of that together will really make them hugely successful in terms of their donations. And then one little tip that I know has been discussed in a lot of the other webinars in the past is leaving that donation period open. Because having been a race director for as long as I was, there is nothing like the high that people ride at the end of a race, especially if a race was a charitable race. And people are still on a high. They're still talking to their friends and their family. Oh, we raised this much money. The race raised $52,000. They were $3,000 short. And they'll saying it to a friend. Oh, I'll make a contribution. So don't shut the donations down. Like, leave it open. At least leave it open for another week. Maybe even leave it open to the end of the year. I mean, all those little tiny nooks and crannies that people will skip over. I just love that feature, and I love making sure that people use every tool in the toolbox.
Yeah, and it's cool that the fundraisers can put their banners on there.
Oh, yeah, and then helping when helping race directors see all the tools that the fundraisers can use to make their pages come alive, or the team fundraising pages come alive. All of it is just, it's so important because those are the things that work. And there's a lot of pride, and there's a lot of ownership, there's a lot of enthusiasm, and then you get into all of the social sharing, and it's just, spreads like wildfire. It's great.
Now, what are your customer interactions like day to day?
I do a lot of email. So like some other account managers have said, we get a sort of a steady stream of email coming into our box. A lot of it is technical questions or requests for sort of Q&A sessions to sort of understand or take a deeper dive into a feature. I do a lot of onboarding or sort of training sessions with my clients because there's only so much that someone can take at their first hit. Like, I'm a volunteer firefighter, so I love using the expression that when you're a first-time user, sometimes it feels like you're drinking out of a fire hose, which is basically hard or impossible. And you're not going to learn it all in one sitting. So a lot of times with a first or second year user, it's multiple sessions to all right, let's take a deeper dive into email V2, or let's take a deeper dive into the sponsor feature or the volunteer feature, because they can't get it all in one sitting. And then they finally get people and donations and fundraisers and teams and this and that. It's okay, now you've got real stuff in here. Let's understand how to use it. It's like building a house and you walk in, you're like, I don't even know what light switch operates the overhead light, right? It's beautiful, it's perfect, everything's great. And it's okay, now I need to use it. So that's a lot of what my day looks like.
It's funny, that fire hose thing. I think that because I started here very early and I got to work as new features were added, but then with new people coming on, it's oh, you need to learn the whole thing.
Right.
So if someone's watching this right now and they're wondering what is peer-to-peer, how would you explain that?
That's a great question. So this isn't a very technical response, but basically peer-to-peer is, in my view anyway, is putting the tools in place so that I can ask you as my friend to help me raise money for a cause I care about. Because the studies have shown that if I care deeply about something and you are my friend and you know that it is so important to me, you're going to be more likely to help me. It's not that you don't care about the cause, but you really care about what I'm passionate about. And that's the beauty of peer-to-peer. It's basically asking your supporters, your participants, your event attendees who are already inclined to support you to go one step further and put it out in the world that I love this cause, I love this organization, I'm getting behind it, help me. And that's peer-to-peer, and it works. It's an army of advocates, of supporters, of fans, of people who want to rally behind a cause and to make it that much more successful.
Yeah, I know if I'm like on Facebook scrolling through and you see like an ad to donate, it's like you might scroll past that, but it's like, oh, Nancy is trying to collect
Yes.
donations. It's like, for what? What is Nancy interested in?
Yeah, big difference, big difference. It's that personal ask in the age of social media, right? It's a tool that didn't exist many, many years ago. You know, we'd get the card in the mail, or like you said, you'd see an ad or maybe an ad on television. This is really putting a personal face and name to it, and it is a great way for a nonprofit to raise funds. And then in addition to that, all those people who have signed on to be your supporters with a peer-to-peer fundraising race or event, they may very well go on to be staffers, volunteer, members of your board. You know, it's just this, it's a tool that really can help expand the reach and the success of a nonprofit.
What do you find to be the greatest strength of the account manager team?
Oh, that's a good question. We are a great group of people who love to collaborate and love to help one another because we all have a commitment and a dedication to helping our clients, but we all have such different backgrounds. Like some people were timers and some people were race directors and some people came from corporate jobs. And like for me, I came from the nonprofit sector. And so we bring all these different strengths and interests and experiences and years of experiences together. And then we are always looking to help one another be better for our clients. So that collaboration that our team has is key.
And you guys are all collaborating right now with the account manager meeting, right?
We are, yeah. We're here also with our whole sales team. And that's a great opportunity also because I think when one piece of the company, so when sales understands what account managers do and when account managers understand what salespeople do and when we understand what the marketing people do and what the developers do, it just makes everybody able to do their job better because there's nothing like understanding different points of view and different perspectives and different work challenges.
Now, do you have any success stories you want to share about working at RunSignup?
I can't give you anything specific because I'm terrible with numbers. I always have been. But I will say that seeing races or events just crush their goals, whether it's their numbers or their donation amounts, is beyond rewarding. And then, you know, we check in with our race directors and our event organizers at the end of a race to see how things go. But then when you get the email back and they will elaborate and share some details about that, that's the sweetest thing in the world. It's the best, you know, to know that you had a little tiny piece of that success, knowing that, you know, you helped a little bit. That's a good day. That's a really good day.
Well, thanks for talking with us, Nancy.
Thank you.